Hey everybody, this is Mike with Accounting for Cycling. Today we're going to be going over the Neewer, or Newer, I pronounce it Neewer, because N-E-E, knee. Guess we could put a K for knee, but either way, whichever way you pronounce it, this is going to be my newest addition to my lighting setup in my studio, and also since it is able to be battery powered, it's portable and mini, as it even claims itself. Now, with the price that the RGB color version is, you could go with a more powerful or even a double version of a continuous light, just in either a bicolor or a single color, and put out more power or have more power available. I decided to go with RGB because, I have quite a few lights that are already that way. Sometimes you just want to shoot in blue. I don't know. So yeah, that's why I decided to go with this route. Yeah, anyways, it's a fairly hefty box. If you caught my short earlier, you can see I did a pretty good job of taking the Amazon label off here. Now, Neewer or Newer, whichever is correct too. They usually do kind of like a no BS box, which is nice. It really just focuses on you get a nice simplified product experience instead of super fancy packaging. So let's open up this brown box and get into the case. All that was in there was one of those keep the humidity out things. You can see my current lighting setup here. So yeah, basically the point behind this continuous light here is at some point we're going to put a soft box on it, and we are going to get rid of this and this. Not really as bad for doing product unboxings like this, but kind of the more talking head type videos can really get distracting. So the only thing that was left in the box is when these silica gel keeps moisture out so you don't get stuff in when you don't build up moisture in and around your electronics while they are waiting to ship or sitting in just outside the port. So anyways, this light is a 65 watt, depending on how you read its model, the MS60C RGB WW for two different forms of white. So that's red, green, blue, white, white for the types of LEDs, and we are going to actually spin this, so it's going to be backwards, but also makes it so we can actually flip it open without it hitting my tripod here. So we've got the user manual here. It's nice that it's, oops, word, not English. Okay, yeah, nice that actually get a physical manual here. Français. Oui, anglais. 9 pages of English. Cool. And a fairly thick, sturdy book. Set that off the side here. We've got Operation Prompt Card. This is almost definitely, please download our app, because this is app enabled. You can use Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz wireless, including also their Neewer Direct Infinity. Yeah. So you can use the 2.4 gigahertz remote control system. That actually lets you hook up the different Neewer light systems together so that you can just kind of use one dial, one control to control all the different lights. And I believe you can actually do a couple hundred of those all at once through just one adjustment. So that's really cool if you got a whole studio setup of lights and you want them all changing at once. So right now I've got 2 panel lights up in my studio that I use for when I do live stream bike rides. And so this is mostly going to be just to kind of help with that. And yeah, the one that's hanging off over the ledge of my loft in the office, yeah, I don't want to really hang over that all the time. So yeah, it just kind of connects through that. And I don't know, maybe this will work. Probably not though. It's usually a proprietary system. Package contents, one light, one Bowens mount adapter ring. That'd be this. And it feels pretty sturdy too. Like, yeah, aluminum and maybe just all aluminum. That's cool. Very nice. Quick release. And then some little screw knobbies here to make sure things stay nice and secure. We'll move that over here. Kind of try to keep things mostly organized. And this is going to be a, I don't know if they call it a refractor or a reflector, standard reflector hood. I always like to think of these as like the iguana tank things. Anytime you look at, like, when you're at the pet store or something, they've got the lizards. They've got these on the heat lamps. But, or it's kind of like a rocket booster. Just set that over here. Actually, set that up here. Power adapter. Ooh, we're coming out. All right, we've got the Sony NPF 750, NPF 970 battery adapters. And those are pretty universal for, you know, most types of lighting equipment for cameras and such. We've got the stand, complete with, I think that's a V-mount adapter, or a little V-mount hook. And then you've got the power cable to go from the battery bank thingy, or the little battery hookup deal. Just plug here, and then the other end plugs into the light itself. And then this is just standard US wall outlet. Running out of space already. More silica gel to make sure no unwanted moisture gets in here. Yeah, wouldn't want that. And, okay, cool. There we go. It is a button for tightening. So not quite like a ratcheting system. You just kind of push and then lift. Similarly, push and loosen to give you kind of still that more precision control as it gets tighter, but then also you can not have to move the entire light and hold it steady as you, oops, loosen the whole thing off and break it. There we go. So yeah, and then there. That was a better representation of how that works. All right, and now to the main event. And you'll notice too that I'm kind of saving all the foam in place because the case is, well, the case. And it's all, you know, molded foam for each part of this. So, you know, kind of nice to hold on to it and be able to keep using it if I do move this thing around and use it as a little mobile light system. So I'm pulling the plastic off here. So this is more designed for content creators, vloggers, bloggers, maybe not so much bloggers because, I mean, that's usually written word, but I mean, you can still vlog and blog. It depends. I don't know. I feel like at this point you would just have AI rewrite what you had just talked about versus the other way where you would write it and then have AI vlog it. But yeah, either way, make sure remove cover before use. So yeah, nice aluminum outer chassis here, so that'll be nice for heat dissipation. You can see right through the inside here, a lot of heat. Basically, the whole thing is just one giant heat sink, and then you've got a fan on the bottom by the 3/4 inch by 20 mount, or the 1/4 inch by 20 mount. Then you've got your DC in plug, 20 volt by 3.6 amps. You've got your mode and color temp button, and then your, I don't know, setting and lock button, probably brightness and choose your different settings. And then a little screen here. And then also little control buttons, including Neewer, I guess that's on their website how it's pronounced, Neewer Infinity, and then 2.4 gigahertz connection. And then if you want to connect through Bluetooth, you just press and hold. You can connect through the app that way. Neewer Infinity, though, is kind of their proprietary system where it's a direct connection. So when you connect through that way, it should just automatically connect. And I'll try to go through that on my phone a little bit later, but right now I'm using that as a field monitor with my Pocket 3, which is right up here. Then you've got the on-off button. So it gives you kind of a nice modern control setup here with dials, buttons, instead of some of the older systems. You get dials, but then you also get like a lot of switches. But it's a very nice kind of space gray look. It looks like content creating stuff. All right, let's see if I can outsmart this cover. You just pull the quick release. Similar to if you were to take the reflector on and off, or any soft boxes, anything else that you might attach to the light itself. It's going to be pretty firmly attached as long as you don't hit that. Then of course too, if you want to take the adapter off, you just use some standard Allen keys here. But otherwise, this has a color reproduction index of 97 and a television light color index, I believe I've got that right, the TLCI of 98 out of 100. 17 preset special effects, fan cooled, which we've seen down here, and I'll kind of show off those special effects in a moment here. You've got the larger Bowens adapter right up here. This is the Neewer adapter on the bottom here. So this is going to be for the Neewer specific mounting systems. So anything that is specifically designed for this, or anything that's compatible for this, would be able to work right through here. Otherwise, if you want to use a Bowens compatible mount, you would actually just kind of, let's see if we can find it. There we go, and there we go. Just kind of slide it right on there, and easy enough too. You just match up quick release with quick release, and it slides right on. And now it's a Bowens compatible mount. And then you just kind of tighten these right on. And then any of your existing soft boxes and diffusers should work right along with it, as long as they work with that standard Bowens mount. And if you have anything that works with the Neewer mount, just go through here and you just pull it right off there. So very easy to use system. And yeah, just match up this, pull this, there we go. This wasn't all the way out yet. So yeah, makes it real nice and easy. It's quick release to quick release, and pull the pin and then tighten the pins. So yeah, next what I'll do is I'm just gonna put that protector over the LED lens quick, and actually throw the reflector on. And let's do a little pause here and show off some of the lighting functions of this. All right, and we're back. So we've got the full light here, and before we actually plug it in, I'm going to give it a little weight here. So we've got this zeroed out, and this is with the diffuser on. We've got 813 grams. Take that off here. 720 grams for the light alone. And you can see it's definitely aluminum. I've got a little scratch here from just trying to find the spot here. There we go. And there we go. Kind of get the whole thing out, because you can have the whole thing attached. Like, you can have the Bowens mount plus this reflector that comes with it all on there at the same time. Plus then your handle here, this is just through that 1/4x20 mount, so it just goes right in through the bottom. And all the pictures show it with like the batteries pointing forward, which is, I don't know, I think a little bit strange. I think I'd personally prefer them pointing backwards. It didn't seem like there was any reason that you couldn't. There we go, and with the handle, we've got 1291. Now, I don't have any of the NPF batteries down here right now, so we can't really try it out with one or two. But yeah, 1,422 grams, like, it's still, yeah, I could, never mind, I see why it's pointed the other way. Because otherwise your hand kind of gets in the way of the batteries. So, never mind. They did it on purpose. Designers sometimes getting it right. But, yeah, you can kind of see right in there that there's, I'm just going to take this all the way off. But there's little mounting holes here to line up with. And then little mounting slots here to line up with. And that'll make sure that your handle is just kind of perfectly on, nice and tight. You don't necessarily have to keep it that way, but you know, obviously it's recommended for best safe practices. Yeah, otherwise, let's get this out of the way. Let's get this plugged in and power. There we go. It's press and hold power. All right, so there's the light itself on the bottom here. And it does get a little bit warm, as you'd imagine. It's a 65 watt, fairly powerful LED light pushing through here. So you can use that to shine very, very, very brightly upon things. And like we're just at 50% right now. Let's turn this up. It's a little weird. You'd think that this would be color temp. Maybe, okay. So right now the two lights on the side I have set up for 4800 Kelvin, as well as also the white balance for the camera. So, all right, there we go. So basically what we did here is I just turned down the shutter speed so that our LCD screen back here would stop flickering. And yeah, biggest reason for that is just so we can actually read it correctly together. So we can go here and kind of change the gamut a little bit. Not really much of a need to. But then you can see, tell here and kind of see on the table below. Granted, it's a wood veneer table that is in very, very bad condition. But you can see it cycling through different colors down below. So that's really cool too. Like if you want to kind of have, you know, some nice accent lighting in kind of like a daytime white, just for like brightness, and then have an accent brighter color as your spotlight. You know, it gives you the opportunity to do that. You can set this up in the app itself too, so that's really cool. And then also you have the full 360 degree color wheel set up here. And saturation, which saturation, it's just 0 to 100. 0 being basically you've got white, and 100 being whichever color you're at. 256, more or less, purple, and like more of a blue. So yeah, then we can kind of kick into an RGB mode where you can set based off of whichever one you would actually prefer. And then these are going to be your different actual scene modes. So you've got camera flash, where you can change and set the frequency, the intensity. There we go. Here we go. Lightning, camera flash. I think this one's going to be flickering light bulb. Don't totally know. Fireworks. But so you've got different symbols on here for all 17 of them. Police lights. So yeah, that way if you want to set up a scene with your different lights, you have the ability to do that. And then also be able to, there we go, there's the intensity. Be able to set up the actual intensity of it. Kick that one down to 50 again. There's the intensity with the camera flash. So yeah, just kind of really cool stuff. And as you can hear, it's a nice solid metal construction made out of aluminum. So it gives you, just kind of a good reassurance of control. The fan right now, it's not even on, but Gren only been using it for maybe a couple of minutes here. Definitely nice too that it comes with the reflector. So you're not just kind of stuck with nothing right out of the box except for the light source. So as you can see, even at 50%, it is quite bright. We can tone that down quite a bit, and it goes in 1% steps here too. So see, this is 1% versus if we were to take this light panel, which is what I have been using a lot of. This one's running at 40%, and you can also kind of see their coverage. So you definitely get a wider coverage with the panel versus just the COB light itself. But the COB light gets, obviously a lot more power. If you do have it running off battery, it's not going to be lasting nearly as long. When you do run it off battery, I believe the highest you can get it off of the NPF batteries is 48 watts instead of 65. 65 watts, you have to have it running off of the actual wall power. Turn this off so it kind of stops building up heat down here. All right, so we've got the Neewer app loaded, ready to go. I'm screen recording on my phone as well, just to kind of track that there. Depending on how it turns out, I may or may not actually include it. But we are going to try and use the kind of quick connect here. But let's do this. Bluetooth permission not enabled. Well, let's do that. Look at that. Found it right away. Adding device. One device added. It is that easy. Like just that easy. Microphone. Oops. So yeah, we're not going to authorize the microphone just yet. But so it does have a mode, which is this one right here. You can actually have it set up to the microphone, and it'll set up the light to actually follow. Yeah, sure, why not? Whatever song or beat you're playing, it'll actually move the light to it. So yeah, you get that, and that's pretty cool. As cool as you might think it might be, but I think it's pretty cool. But either way, let's kind of get back here. You got your different modes here. Lightning, paparazzi, defective bulb, explosion, welding, CCT flash, hue flash, CCT pulse, hue pulse, cop car, candlelight, which actually looks more like flame. It's not the intensity. Let's go here. So, yeah, that's supposed to be a candlelight, which, I mean, I could kind of buy it. I'd go more fireplace, maybe, especially if you crank the intensity up. Hue loop, which is more of like a party kind of thing. Intermittent looping, TV screen, fireworks, party, which is going to flash on and off at a certain frequency and speed of different RGB colors, and then right back to lightning. And then you can also do a color picker, which will just use your camera's color to tell you how pasty white I am right now. Yeah, all sorts of cool stuff inside the app, and then you can also set your favorite scenes in there too. And setting it up just as easy as you hit the plus button. If it's your first time, it might ask you to enable Bluetooth. If it's not, it just pops up and says, hey, we found this. You can also then go in, rename it. You can delete devices. You can set groups of devices. That's what this little folder here is. Set favorites. So like, I've now successfully bookmarked that. And then also make groups. Being that I only have one, I mean, granted, these two on the side also Neewer, but they do not have the smart features. So Yeah, and also you can see it's 4 degrees outside. Actual temperature too, in Fahrenheit. So, yippee enjoy. But, so, ooh, we're still flashing. So, the Neewer MS60C, or Newer MS60C, depending on how you would like to state that name, is able to handle 2700 Kelvin, and I'm just going through turning my set lights off here so that we can focus just on this. All the way up to 6500 Kelvin, and it's a native 120 degree beam angle, so it's pretty wide, but you know, it comes with a reflector that gives you already a pretty decent narrowing of the beam. And then also with the color adjustments here, saturation's all the way down. Crank that all the way up, obviously. Yeah. So, go green. Go all the way up to 100%. So it has max output of 65 watts. You can adjust the brightness in 1% increments. So from 0 all the way up to 100. Same, 360 for hue and then saturation at 100. So a lot of adjustability on here. And then also great too, where you can actually just go right into the RGB CW to be able to adjust for all of your contrast, white, red, green, and blue. So if you really have that precise color, that precise color code number that you want to go for, sadly you can't just plug in that Adobe RGB color you want, or like the Adobe code that you want. But if you know the red, the green, the blue, the white, and the contrast level, you got it. Yeah, that's cool. I think this is actually my first light that's actually had that. I also don't think that C is for contrast. Yeah, you can tell I'm new to lights. But anyways, yeah, it is a really, really cool system. Get these side ones back on here. Now, I do not have a softbox to actually test this with, so that makes that a little bit difficult. Oh, it's snoozing. It's on! Snoozing. And then press and hold to turn off. So if you just want to go onto a quick standby, you can just kind of hit on off. It goes into snooze. And then back on. But yeah, any full power on off, either press and hold or rip the battery or power button off. Yeah, as I said, this is the Neewer MS60, which, I mean, really, you'd think it should be the 65C, but hey, whatever. I did not design this. It's a cool system. This is the base model of it. Claims 41,000 lux, half a meter, 4,400 Kelvin. So, it's a thing. With this reflector, though, I don't know if you'd really want that high of lux, and at half a meter, be like here and full brightness, and yeah, that's nuts. Maybe if you want to blind the hell out of your subject. But hey, to each their own. Maybe you don't like your subject, or maybe your subject is yourself, and hey, I'm not going to judge you. That's up to you. It has a wireless app both for Android and iOS. Work great. It has the 2.4 gigahertz remote control system that works with other Neewer products. Just kind of make sure to double check their website and their systems for compatibility with that. That's going to be set up through just basically hitting this button, then you select a channel, and let's see if we can get into that. So basically just click into here, and then there we go. So right up here in the top left, just click through here, and you just make sure that channel matches what you're trying to use it for with all of your other devices, and that will make it so your settings all transmit over. So yeah, otherwise that was really neat using the app. And then, yeah, I'm not going to press and hold yet, but yeah, very lightweight, easy to set up. I actually, based on the reviews I saw, was not expecting to get a case. I was just kind of expecting a box with some styrofoam and this thing to kind of come flying out of it. So, a happy accident there. But anywho, thank you so much for watching today. Again, I am Mike with Accounting for Cycling. This has been the Neewer, I believe it's either Neewer because of the two E's, or Newer, which is probably correct. It seems to be what's on their website and what people keep calling it, and I am likely just mispronouncing it. MS60C for color. There's also the MS60B for bi-color. That'll give you the 2700, 6500 Kelvin white adjustment. Nice thing with that is if you have lights in the background that aren't perfectly adjusted to the COB light that you're using, you can just adjust this light and then your white balance in the camera and tell your camera what true white is, and then adjust it all later in post instead of having to do that all trickly in post. So that's kind of the benefit of either doing a full RGB one or a bi-color. Bi-color is kind of my recommendation. It's a happy medium of still good value, but then also you get that adjustability and user friendliness. I like the RGB because, I mean, sometimes I just like having more color on in my backgrounds. Usually when I'm on like video calls, not so much in recordings, primarily because I forget to change the settings. So yeah, and forget to do that. Otherwise, hey, you know, play around with it, check it out, look around a bit. 65 watts is going to be still really good for kind of a smaller to medium-sized room, like a bedroom, office kind of thing. You know, by no means a full, massive studio, especially if you're just going to be using one of them and kind of a closer up softbox with honeycomb on it, or just this. But keep in mind, the more types of letters that you put in for the types of colors or lighting you want, like R, G, B, W, W, those are the more types of LEDs that you need to fit inside of this lamp. So if you just use the, say, the MS60, which is just kind of the standard, basic, normal one, all of these LEDs will just be 5600 Kelvin sunlight bright. And that's going to be kind of how most of your more base model continuous lights are. But yeah, I don't know, I went for color because I like having options, even if I never use them. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you didn't, I'm sorry for that. Not everything's for everybody. Check out some of my other ones then. I've got all kinds of them. If you're looking for a light like this, check out the description down below. I'll be sure to have some links listed. I also am an affiliate partner with GVM LED. That's who I use for my panel lights, and then also my ring light as well, and some on-camera lights. They have a lot of great options. Just for the budget I was looking for, this thing won out at about $130. So yeah, GVM, great video maker, LED. Their closest one was about $200. Still an excellent budget, excellent value. That was also about a 100-watt LED system, so a little bit more powerful and a great value at that range, but not quite what I was looking for my first continuous light. But my other two larger studio lights are from them. So yeah, check them out as well. I'll have all of that listed in my description down below, as well as some links to some other videos. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.